Alright fellas, here we are, back in Pokemon Masters, and we're gonna do some more stuff with Raikou here. So, I said in the I'm pretty sure I said it in the video where I did Raikou's missions, back when he first released about a week ago? A couple days ago? I don't really remember. But, you know, the most recent Legendary Arena, I said I wanted to do a video covering, you know, all of his gimmicks, abilities, or just units that can abuse those gimmicks and abilities. And here it is. I'm probably gonna try and do a couple videos over it, not really in succession, but, you know, maybe space them out a little bit. Every time I maybe get a free chance, I want to do a video over it, because I do like doing these videos where I can show different units being good in certain scenarios. Raikou's not a very difficult Legendary Arena to abuse and defeat, because the big thing is that it needs a weather condition. Well, it needs a weather condition changed at the 3rd bar, and it needs speed debuffs from the 2nd bar, because it gets more, you know, it's more powered up, or it gets more power whenever its speed is raised. It doesn't have ramming speed or inertia, but whenever its speed is raised at all, it gets powered up. So you basically want to just make sure that Raikou's speed is at least at, you know, neutral or whatever, but, you know, debuffing is generally going to be a little bit better. So you want to make sure that Raikou's speed is debuffed, and at the last bar it sets rain, and it gets a lot of power whenever it's in rain, as well as guaranteed thunder accuracy. So you want to be sure to maybe change out thunder or change out rain as, you know, as soon as possible, or at least, you know, just defeat Raikou as quick as possible, right? I think that's also a very viable strategy. So keep in mind, Raikou also has sides here in Electrode and Ampharos. Electrode has Explosion. Ampharos, I believe, has like Discharge and just annoying AoE moves and potential paralysis problems. So keep that in mind, right? They may paralyze you. That could be a problem, right? So I've got some different team setups here where you can, you know, make use of weather effects and speed debuffs, or at least one of the things there. I've got 3 separate teams. I'm probably going to do multiple videos over these, but yeah, let's go ahead, hop into the battles here. I've got the first one here with Irida and Getsus. Obviously, Irida's able to set Hail, which, you know, makes it so the rain at the end is neutralized, and Getsus and Irida can both easily debuff speed for Raikou and deal damage to the sides with AoE. I feel Getsus is going to be a great unit in this battle, or in this Legendary Arena as a whole, because of the speed debuffs and, you know, the level of ease that he can actually, you know, nuke and just destroy the enemy, right? So let's go ahead and hop in and see what we're able to do. Time to cut. Anyway, so now let's see what we're able to do here against Raikou. Cheryl is literally just here for fun. I don't have really any reason to have Cheryl here. I do have the Arctic Arrival here on Irida. It's not really required, but I do have her tank grid set up, so that's just kind of how I wanted to do it. I figured that probably would have worked out a little bit better. Cheryl's just here to give us some speed. Yeah, I figured that's kind of what would happen. We would get paralyzed, but it will. Cheryl's here to apply some speed buffs and special attack buffs, of course, and we're going to have Getsus here, hopefully get some good debuffs in. Thankfully, we're also able to debuff them, assuming, you know, we land our attacks, which is a little bit important. I'm probably going to go ahead and go for the nuke with Getsus instead of Irida, just because it's easier to get, because we also just ran out of zone, which I'm not too worried about, but hey, whatever. Sadly, Cheryl is not able to restore. I think Cheryl has inner grid to where she can restore status conditions, or, you know, heal status conditions when using her trainer move. So if you want to abuse that, you can, or at least try to anyway. There we go. This last Icy Wind here should be able to take out the Electrode and Ampharos, which that's really, really good, of course. We are having gauge problems, which is quite annoying, even with speed buffs. It's because of our paralysis. That makes sense. Oh, well. There we go. We're going to get hit with the Electric Beam. Paralysis is definitely something you're going to have to, you know, be careful of and try to figure out a way to solve. At least, you know, it can probably be a problem, right? Let's go ahead and go for an Icy Wind here. See if potentially we can take out that Electrode and Ampharos. Just miss. Okay. That's fun. That's not really a problem. Let's go ahead and go for another Noble Roar there. And that should take them out. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Gonna go ahead and go for... Can you not miss? Why are you missing? Either way. There we go. That takes that out. Let's go ahead and use Getsus' Sync move. Speed should still be debuffed. Quite a bit. Yeah, -3. That's enough. And the zone does not last long at all. That's fine. Don't really need it. This should do a lot of damage. If it crits. Gotta love that. I just need to queue up a move with Cheryl here. Paralysis is definitely something you're going to have to worry about. and you could potentially, you know, alleviate paralysis when, you know, setting up lucky skills or whatever else. That might be a good way to do it. But thankfully we're able to, you know, pretty much stall out Raikou for the most part, just because its speed is already debuffed just as much as it already is. So we don't really have to worry too much about speed being raised at all. Unless we want to, you know, maybe use Getsus's nuke, which we do, but we can't because we don't have enough gauge to get the sync countdown. But thankfully Raikou's not doing any damage to us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Not that much. I'm going to go ahead and set up Ice Wish here, because Raikou is going to set up the rain now. And there we go. There's the rain. It is infinite, but thankfully we have Ice Wish here. Let's go ahead and use ourselves Buddy Ice Beam and heal up Irida again here. Thankfully we're actually getting some gauge acceleration, which is nice. And that should be the goodbye for the Raikou with Getsus's Glaciate. Save that nuclear bomb of a move right there. Or not, because we keep missing for some reason. Okay, anyway, that was one hell of a fucking ride, but we were able to take him out just fine. So, indirectly, you have to probably worry about paralysis. So bring somebody with, like, paralysis negation, or lith, or the ability to heal status conditions. Probably your best bet, right? Anyway, let's completely ignore that fact, and let's go ahead and use this other setup here, where I've got Nita, Lodge Cynthia, that's what I was trying to think of. I want to say Caitlyn, I don't know why. And then Nita here, of course. So Nita's also got speed debuffs with Bulldoze. Lodge Cynthia here has speed debuffs with Rock Tomb, which is good. I think she also has the ability to debuff speed. Again, yeah, she's got Trip Up on Rock Tomb here. And there's also Rain Grid, but who cares? She also has Quick Cure. That's not the ability I want. I don't want Quick Cure. I don't want Quick Cure. I wanted the other one. Oh, well, it's fine. She does not. Okay, she doesn't heal status conditions, but that's fine. Whatever. If you really need to beat Raikou, like in terms of like potential legendary gauntlet status, you could definitely grid or lucky skill your units with like Lith, or potentially change around the units' grids, because generally they have like Quick Cure or whatever the ability is to cure status conditions whenever they're applied. So there could be that as well. Let's go ahead and hop into the battle here though. Cynthia's able to apply some crit buffs for us, and then Nita can apply the speed and attack buff, so Maxie shouldn't have many gauge issues here. And of course we can focus on debuffing speed with Cynthia and Nita both, which is great. Let's go ahead and start doing that. I did not mean to go for the Earthquake there. And there we go. Let's go for the Precipice Blades. Bad thing about the sides there is that they're also going to go for some speed debuff stuff on us, which can definitely be a problem. But thankfully Cynthia has her Trina move here, which applies gauge acceleration, so it's very, very nice there. Raikou avoided the attack. Neat. I don't care. Let's go ahead and go for the support EX, and the sides should go down really easily here. That's the good thing about this, is that these sides are not difficult to kill at all, so you're generally not going to face many problems with that there, which is always good, right? And let's go ahead and try and get a Bulldoze in here. Even more speed debuffs. I love how much speed is getting debuffed with Raikou here. It's funny. Okay, minus 4 speed, or minus 5 speed now. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and go for some more Rock Tombs. Sadly, Sun is going to run out, but Maxie already does so much damage as it is that it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. We could set up... We could use the Striker EX, I guess, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Nita's sync move because I'm impatient. And there we go. Even without the Sun, we're doing a lot of damage here. And down to the last bar you go. That's fun. And let's go ahead and go for some move gauge acceleration here. Clearly we do not care about that rain. Groudon Strength does not care about that rain, and I have him just 1 out of 5, so that's the funny thing. Yeah, we don't care. We do not care about your rain, Raikou. That was without Ground Zone or any sort of, like, field effect changing towards the end there, of course. Like, again, it's very easy to just power through Raikou as well. Like, if you don't have speed buffs, you're probably fine anyway. Or speed debuffs, I mean. If you don't have speed debuffs or a way to change weather, you're probably fine anyway, because you can literally just two-shot the thing with any ground unit. Even if you're not using your ground unit, you can probably use someone that's really powerful, like, you know, Adaman, Irida, Getsus. These units with strong nukes that can just blitz through them anyway. Very, very easy. Ingo here, he can set up Sand. Courtney's got speed debuffs. Naomi has speed debuffs with Mud Shot, so we can definitely make use of those as well. Let's go ahead and have some fun here, again. I'll probably set up another team here and we'll finish him off with that. I kind of want to brute force through Raikou with like Signature Giovanni or something. See how that goes. I'd say probably would go relatively well. Let's go ahead and set up some special attack buffs, and we'll go ahead and use a Bulldoze. And we'll set up some crit buffs here with Emmett. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll keep going for some speed debuffs just to get them over with here. And we'll go for a Mud Slap just to get some speed debuffs, speed buffs in there, which is definitely what we need. And there we go. Sadly, they're debuffing our speed, but we do have free moves next with Ingo if we ever need to use it, so shouldn't have to worry about too much. We are not going to be able to get the sand up. Well, I could use the sand NPR here, but I'm not gonna. So I'm just going for Earth Power. And the sand's down. That's fine. I won't set up the sand for quite a bit, even though it directly hinders Naomi's performance. We should still be able to strong arm through Raikou for the most part. Pretty easily, too, I might add. Especially with the ground zone and the fact that Raikou took that much damage, despite the fact we don't have our sand multipliers active, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny to me. We can also just, use Courtney's EX. Thankfully, Courtney is going to be getting added to the Spotlight tickets pretty soon, so we can definitely make use of that. Let's go ahead and set up an Earth Power, I guess. We are going to get synced, but that's fine. We have potions and whatnot to handle it. Not that we need to, anyway. And there we go. Let's go ahead and get our sync move up. I think ground zone's still up. It is. And Naomi's just hitting hard, man. Naomi's hitting that hard. We should be able to just one-shot. Actually, I don't think we have enough crit buffs with Courtney, so we may not crit in our sync move, which we don't, but it doesn't matter. That's funny, because there it goes. Goodbye. Wow, Raikou's a pushover. Not that we really needed to know that, but still, he is. Go ahead and use another Bulldoze. That should probably take out Raikou right there. Nah, almost though. Yeah, Raikou's not too Raikou's not too difficult. So it's definitely not hard to make use of a team, or make a team that can really take out this Legendary Arena here. You just have to be careful about those AoE moves more so in the beginning than anything else. And obviously I'm using a pretty strong setup here, but you can definitely just strong arm through Raikou if need be. I'm just trying to look at units that can make use of it a lot better than potential others, right? Barry, I'm pretty sure is able to debuff speed. He's got Cakewalk, right? Let's see. I'm pretty sure I've Barry gridded. Yeah, he's got ramming speed, Cakewalk, and inertia. And you can debuff with Bubble Beam here, so 50% chance to debuff speed. Is it AoE? No, it's a single target. Still. Let's try it. Let's see how we can do. And someone who can buff speed. Isn't Barry... Let's see. Move gauge refresh. I would need someone who can... Okay, I need a crit maxer. You know what? Sure, we'll go Sycamore. That's fine. This is a almost completely free setup. Literally just May here. Isn't free. But I also brought her for debuffs. Sycamore is great because of just being an amazing universal tank, especially in the Legendary Gauntlet or Legendary Arenas, whatever you want to call it. Just for the simple fact that he's so bulky and he can build up his bulk pretty quickly and just spam Horn Leech and he essentially just doesn't die. And it's the fun part. Also, Barry and May here directly benefit off of the rain that Raikou sets up at the end, so Raikou's kind of, kicking itself in the ass at that point, which is funny. Sadly, we also get our own speed debuffed, but Sycamore's sync move is able to raise our own speed as much as we need to, so if it ever gets really bad to where our speed is super debuffed, we can just use Sycamore's sync move again, get it back, max back up, and that's, a wrap, right? There we go. Team Shot may activate. Nope, thankfully not. And there we go. We can also use Sycamore if we don't have... If you don't have May or you're not using May or whatever, you can potentially use Sycamore just to try and take out the sides while you single target the middle with Barry. It's definitely a reliable strategy you could try and make use of, for sure. It is getting its speed buffed back up, but thankfully, the speed debuffs from Barry here is kind of neutralizing it a little bit. Not on the sides, but thankfully May is able to take care of the sides herself, so it's not really that bad. I think a good thing to wait for would be to potentially use Sycamore's Gauge Acceleration a little bit later, because it also has the ability to apply Gradual Healing, which could be a lot more useful later in the battle instead of early in the battle. So keep that in mind. There we go, we took out the Electrode. I hate that exploding bastard. So thankfully we don't have to deal with that. And we got another speed debuff in there, which is great. go ahead and target the Ampharos here. Should be able to do decent damage with Barry here, even though we don't have the rain set up. I don't really use Barry that often. I probably should, because I know he's pretty solid, but I just never do. Just straight up never do. There we go. Muddy Water's taking out the Raikou there. Let's try and set up rain now. There we go. You can go down now. What the fuck was Ampharos waiting for? Fucking permission? Oh well. Discharge, I don't think that gets boosted in the rain. I'm pretty sure it's just the Thunders, which we can handle mostly by ourselves, so it's not a problem. Also, Sycamore is really good for the fact that he can potentially heal his allies every time he performs. I don't know if it's on his trainer move or if it's every time he can perform a move himself, but he can heal ally status conditions, which can end up being, you know, really nice, right? So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. This should put Raikou down. Yeah, that'll take Raikou out completely, except for the last bar, of course, which then it'll set back up rain itself, and we'll be able to deal a bunch of boosted damage. But do consider Raikou can, you know, set up that boosted damage itself. Never mind, I also just missed. I also just didn't crit, so that's how that goes sometimes. But thankfully May's got our back there, so we're good. And the rain is set back up. So Raikou does have buffs now in the rain here, but the good thing about Barry is that he can also potentially heal paralysis in case we ever face that as a problem. But that is also quite a bit of damage there, right? Thankfully, again, we've got speed debuff. Not speed debuffs, we got paralysis heal on Barry, so we can potentially make use of that. And let's finish off Raikou here with Barry's Sing move, even though Cakewalk is not activated. Hyper Beam, that's going to do quite a bit because we're in rain, but it still didn't even do that much. The thing with Raikou here is that even with the speed buffs and the rain, it doesn't actually hit that hard. Because even though I'm looking at like its passes here, it's got Shower Power, let's see. I've got it up Raging Rain 3, Shower Power 3, Speed Up Power 3, and Speedster Sing 3. So you would think, right, that it would actually have quite a bit of power behind those multipliers, but no. Raikou doesn't actually hit that hard. So, yeah. Either way, I'm not too mad about it. I'm able to showcase ground units now whenever there's not a ground weak stage. So I'm not too mad about that. I'm not going to be mad about that. I'm not going to be upset about that. But yeah. Those are a few teams that are good against Raikou here. You got a lot of options. If you really want to manipulate the speed and make sure Raikou is just essentially able to do negative damage to you, you can definitely make use of all these units that can debuff speed, right? I think Janine is definitely one of the best to make use of, being free, because of the Poison, which is great, and the Venom Drench, which once you get the enemy's speed debuffed by a certain amount, they're not going to really ever recover, because you can just do so much damage to them so quick that it doesn't matter. Marlin. As much of a meme unit as Marlin is, I think even he could survive some attacks from Raikou, right? And then, of course, make use of his Rock Tomb in order to actually debuff. That can be great. Just a lot of units here that can take out Raikou because of their speed, or ability to debuff speed. We've got Kaylee here, who has a 10% chance to debuff, but I'm pretty sure she's got Stat Leech. I think she has Honor Roll on Bubble Beam in her grid. I may be wrong about that. I could actually look right now. But yeah, a lot of units that can definitely change the weather, obviously to hail, sun, sand, that was the other one, instead of rain. Or you can just make use of the rain yourself and bring a strong rain or a strong water type, or, you know, Thunder Abuse or whatever, and you can just nuke, right? Yeah, we got on a roll 4 here on Bubble Beam, that's great. 50% chance to deal with speed just like Barry. We could have had double Barry, bros. We could have had this as a setup. Aw. Maybe I'll do that against Raikou sometime. Anyway, yeah. Raikou, not a hard legendary arena. There's a lot of units that can make use of the abilities Raikou needs in order to actually counteract them and then, you know, abuse them themselves. Like Barry here, Raikou wants speed buffs. He'll debuff the speed and then use that speed to do more damage with his Cakewalk. So, it's fun. But anyway, that was the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what teams you want to use against Raikou. Let me know what teams you want to see me use against Raikou, actually. I'm very, very curious to know that. I'll try and potentially get like a compilation of them together and put them in a video, right? Maybe some fun teams, some potentially difficult teams. Please, no. But whatever, yeah. I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed.